and good afternoon to everybody. Hopefully, everyone is doing good tonight. Let's say hello to a few people that we got in the house tonight. Scroll up here. We got Philip. Welcome. It's good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. And Nisi, it's so good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. Welcome. And Janet, it's so good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see. And then we've got Rachel. Welcome in. Thank you so much for coming in. So good to see you tonight. Appreciate everyone coming out tonight and having a good old time hanging out and spending a little family time together. That's what I call it. And Robbins, welcome in. It's good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But good to see y'all. Of course, you might see you have a little change of scenery today. I'm in the front room because Autumn don't feel good today. So she's in there laying down, and I'm out here. So it all works the same either who. But Hope's, I guess we'll kind of get into Hope's appointment. Hope's appointment went fantastic. Her A1C dropped from 7.9 to 6.9. They tweaked on her medicine a little bit to where their goal for her is to be in her range 70% of the time. Right now it's about 40. But they're working on it. Just a little pinch here and there. Just getting everything going good. And we'll take it as we get it. We'll say that. And welcome, Janet. It's good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. Always good to see you. But after her doctor appointment, that's when everything kind of fell apart a little bit. Not too bad. I mean, after we get through at the doctor's office, we always go to Sam's because we get our paper towels, toilet paper, forks, spoons, a few things, that we need. And this time they had some eggs on sale and this and that and the other, and went through that whole entire store just fine. Not an issue. I get outside the door, my eggs fall on the ground, they all break. So I guess the raccoons got to eat those 2 dozen eggs. I had to go back in and buy those. Nothing big. We went to dinner. I forget where we went. A little hibachi place. And Autumn hadn't used her card in I don't know how long. So we went to eat. And I'm like, wouldn't that be kind of funny if your card doesn't work? Well, it didn't work, and we're sitting there in this restaurant owing $64. I'm just like, what are we going to do? How are we going to pay this? And luckily, Autumn had taken some money out of my wallet and put it in her purse. So we had that, and then I had a little bit of money on the other card. So we got that paid for. And figured out what was wrong with her card after we got out of the restaurant. She'd accidentally turned it off, so it wasn't that big a deal. But on the way home, I thought I was going to have to wash dishes or something. My goodness. But we got to heading home, and man, we got into a torrential downpour. Like, I'm talking 6 inches of rain within 10 minutes. I mean, it came down fast. And when we got to the gas station, the car was running fine, no issues. Got gas, got something to drink, got back in the car, got ready to go. It didn't want to run at all. It just spit and spluttered and everything else. And apparently that torrential downpour did something to that car. But luckily, I think we were an hour and a half away from home. But we limped it home anyway. We got there. It just took us a while. Welcome in, Flying Squirrel. So good to see you. Thank you for coming. But yeah, so we got home, and I was thinking that maybe it was something to do with traction control on that car. We've had trouble with it, but Dad drove it around here fine. But we got maybe 15, 20 minutes away from home. It started doing it again, so we turned around and came back home. So I got to do something with that because either who, I guess we're gonna have to start going to like a rental car company just to make it to her appointments now because we need something dependable anyway. But hello, Tarsha. Welcome. Good evening to you, and good to see you, and welcome. So that was the eventful trip, but you know how we always say that all things happen for a reason and they're not a coincidence. I think the car tearing up was a good thing because between where we started at and where we would have normally have been if the car wouldn't have tore up and it was running fine, we'd been on down the road. A SUV had flipped like 7 times and landed in the woods, and it would have been right where we were. So we could have been in the middle of that. So that's a good thing that came out of it, I guess, that we weren't in the middle of that car accident. So, but, you know, like I said, things happen for a reason. There's always a blessing hidden in the chaos, I guess. But we made it home just fine and been making it just fine. And yesterday was Hope's birthday, and her grandmother gave her like $50, and Dad bought her a game, and we took her. Well, what did we get to eat? I forget now. Oh, she wanted some fried chicken, like the little 8-piece chicken that you can get at like the grocery store. So we bought a 16-piece because it was on sale. Got that and some rolls and something to drink. We went to the little park and ate and watched the ducks. And just so happens that Autumn's grandmother is buried like the entrance to the park. There's actually a cemetery inside the park there, and we went and put some flowers on her grave and visited that for a little while, and then we went on home. That was pretty much the gist of yesterday. But today we just sat at home all day, enjoying the day. Autumn didn't feel good. I'm tired from all the traveling and the work and everything, so we just stayed home, got a little relaxing in, and getting ready to start our busy work week for next week. So, but either way, had a good day. Just sitting around and relaxing, and I always look forward to getting to see y'all. And let me get Hope in here. Hopey, come here a minute. Let's see. Let me scoot over just for a minute.
Hi.
Let's see. We got the Flying Squirrel, Rockin' Robin, Janet, Philip, Tarsha. Did I miss anybody? All those people, and Miss Janet, all of them said happy birthday.
Thank you.
So, all righty. She's in there doing her schoolwork and watching TV and playing with the cats and everything else. So, appreciate y'all making her have a happy birthday. That's for sure. But Now, on last live stream that we did, the alligator horse uh, asked me, would I like some stories? And he sent me a few. One of them, I'm going to make that into a video because it's special and it hits home with me too. So, yeah, Janet, she is. She's growing fast. She's 4'9" and 102 pounds or something like that. 12 years old. So, but he sent in some stories, and I'm gonna read some of them with you tonight, and then we'll have a video. I'll probably make the next one a this reading his story, and I know I've been kind of transitioning out of the photo videos because I don't have many more of those left to do. I think I've only got 3 or 4 left, if that. So I'm gonna kind of spread them out, but we'll still have them. I'll throw them in whenever I can. So we'll have those to still look forward to, but I'm just kind of spreading them out instead of doing a photo video and then a story video. We're doing a couple of story videos and then a photo video, but we still got a few left. Still got a few, but yeah, that first story that he shared, I think we can all relate to it a little bit. So I'm gonna make it into a video by itself. It's gonna be a good one. So right, wait till she's 17 and we need to talk. No. I don't even want to think about that. But I guess we'll start getting into these stories. I'm not sure how many there are. I think there's 2 or 3. I'm gonna be able to. So I'm gonna make that one into a video, and I think we'll like it a lot. So let me get me off of this old screen here, and we'll get into the video. So, like I said, this is from our awesome brother at the Alligator Horse, and the story goes. This is a story about the juvenile facility that our county had to house kids who'd gotten themselves in trouble. The building was originally a private residence that the county purchased and remodeled to accommodate the underage inmates. This was where the youth would be held pending their court appearances. It was separated into male and female sections. During the day, the matron on duty with a deputy, and by night, a deputy would be on duty. The facility was the first place that I truly believed that I witnessed a demonic possession. This one boy was so mean. I think he was born a mean old soul, or that he had knowingly or unknowingly conjured up a demonic entity. The boy's eyes would turn black when he was doing something outside of normal behavior. I once saw him when a girl who was a child psychologist began to pray for him, began to cuss the girl, and while doing so, crawling under a living room style chair in her office that had no more than 8 inches of clearance from the floor. As she prayed, he cussed her in some of the most vile language that I had ever heard, with his eyes completely blackened. He would spit at her. The stronger he prayed, the more vile he became. I've often wondered how he made out. I think part of the problem is that these games kids would play is that these kids would play a game called Bloody Mary, where they would stand before a mirror and chant the words Bloody Mary. Anytime we would catch them, we would stop them from doing this. Mostly, this fell to the deputy at night, as they would do this at midnight. For all this emotion in the house itself became a dark place. I and other people witnessed a black shadow that would come from the kitchen area and fly up the stairs where the children were sleeping. The worst place was the basement. The basement held the laundry facility, and once a night we were required to go to the basement during our security rounds. This was done alone and unarmed, as our deputy weapons were secured in lock boxes when inside the building. The basement always gave you the feeling of something was down there watching you from the dark corners. Tom, a deputy who had been on the Baltimore, Maryland police force before moving out here, told me that the building was beyond haunted. He said something truly evil inhabited that place. Fortunately, we would only draw this deputy this duty every few months. The rest of our time would be split between adult jail and on the road. But one night I had a terrifying experience. Amen to that. Do not mess with the occult. I was making the middle of the night security rounds when I went to check the basement as the last thing I did in my checks. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary until I put my hand on the doorknob to the basement to open the door. At that moment, I heard a voice say, "Do not open this door." Though the voice was in my head, it was not my voice, and it was very loud. Welcome in, Daryl. So good to see you. Thank you for coming. Welcome, welcome. Not as when we think to ourselves. In addition to that, I had the feeling of total terror that something was standing on the other side of the door at the head of the steps, waiting for me to open it. I was so scared I could barely move. I slowly took my hand off the doorknob and backed away from the door. Even standing a few feet away from the door, I could still feel something was there on the other side of the door waiting on me to open it. I also got the feeling that whatever was there was enjoying my fear. That morning, I told Tom about it, and he said, "You thought I was joking, didn't you, boy?" I would never again go into that basement, even though it was part of my duty. Soon after, I was transferred to a full-time road deputy and never worked in the jail or the juvenile detention center again. There was something truly evil in that basement. Wow. I don't even know what to say to that. You never know what the kids bring in, what kind of life they've lived, and who were their parents and what kind of home did they live in? Were they some sort of people that loved to worship the devil or inadvertently welcomed him in their house and brought him with them as they came in? Man, oh man, oh man. That was a strange story. All right. This is the next one. It says this story is about an unusual sheriff department radio dispatch that I think was a ghost sighting. When I became a deputy on completion of the police academy, I had to ride for a month with a field training officer before they would let me patrol on my own. That day was New Year's Day of 1980. Although I had only been on the department for a couple of months, I was decided that I could be allowed to solo on this holiday, as historically very little happens on New Year's Day. Most of the calls are on New Year's Eve, the night before. The day began quietly enough, with only one call all morning and a loose running dog complaint. Later that day, thought I received a dispatch call from the Emergency Operations Center, which started with 89C6 rush traffic. Rush traffic means emergency situation. I answered, Wayne County C6 go. County immediately answered, have a report of two children possibly broken through the ice on Morgan Creek, south of the Jackson Bird Road Bridge. I turned my light bar on and began signal 10 to reach the bridge over at Morgan Creek. Upon arrival, I saw a woman frantically waving her arms standing on the bridge. When I stopped, she exactly told me that the children had gone for a walk along the creek several hours ago and never came home. She told me that she had followed their tracks in the snow along the creek to a spot that had ventured out onto the ice, and that spot was a large hole in the ice on the creek at midstream. She said that she had run to their farmhouse about a quarter mile down the road to call in the sheriff's department. Let's see. She led me down the path that ran along the creek to the spot where the break in the ice was. There was plainly on the snow cover of the ice were two sets of child-sized feet prints leading right to the break into the ice. I had already called for the closest volunteer fire department and a water rescue unit by my portable radio. I tried to calm her down, but it wasn't working much. She was almost hysterical when we heard the second sounds of the fire rescue siren units echoing in the distance. When the fire department arrived, they had a diver who braved going under the ice, and he shortly located the two children, a girl 9 and a girl 11 and a boy age 9. He said they were at the bottom in about 10 feet of water. Both were deceased, of course. With later, the coroners ruled the drowning as a cause of death. The woman's husband arrived home from rabbit hunting and had rushed to the bridge where he found no one at home. The area around the bridge a quarter mile away crowded the emergency vehicles. Although distraught himself, he did his best to comfort his wife, and I suggested that he take her home now. Now, the story, that's where it gets creepy. Okay. Flash forward to the year 2000. On a snowy New Year's night, a dispatch came across any unit in the vicinity of Jacksonsburg Road, south of Morgan's Creek. I then heard another officer respond. Wayne County 8910, location Washington Road. 8910, a caller reported two children, a boy and a girl, walking along the road. The children appeared to be wet.
Hey, Daddy, my sugar's only 8.
When the caller stopped to ask, hold on, guys, just a minute. All right, I'm back. When the caller stopped to ask if they were okay, the children kept walking without even acknowledging her. The caller became frightened and went to the Speedway station and called the police. She was worried about the child's welfare. The deputy responded, 8910 en route. About 15 minutes later, I heard the deputy's response. Wayne County 8910. County responds. 8910, go with traffic, the deputy answers. County negative contact on the children. I did see footprints in the snow walking south, but they disappeared about a quarter mile of the bridge at the old vacant farmhouse. Maybe they were picked up by someone. It says, we'll continue to patrol, back in service. The deputy and the dispatcher were both hires long after the New Year's Day in 1980 and likely had no prior knowledge of the drownings that had occupied 20 years earlier. I had listened to this over my radio at home as I was not on duty that night. I firmly believe that the woman who called it in the original story had seen the ghosts of the children who had died that day 20 years earlier. The fact that the tracks disappear at their old house is pretty hard to explain. Later, I asked the deputy about it, and he just shrugged it off. With an I don't know, someone probably gave him a ride. I never went into my original experience with the drowning, but I had been laughed at enough over the paranormal. Today, the old farmhouse is gone, having been torn down, and a new bridge now spans the creek, replacing the old one-lane bridge. Other than that, the area is still the same. Wow. That's a pretty sad story. And I wouldn't know what in the world I would do if I found Hope, let her go off by herself and find that she drowned. I would go crazy. But for some reason, when tragic events happen, spirits often hang around that area, reliving their last moments, unfortunately. But so tragic, and I wouldn't even know how to, even be the diver that had to find those children. Like that had to be any child call has to be one of the hardest that you'd ever have to deal with. Welcome, Natalie. Thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate it. It's always good to see you and everybody else. Thank y'all for coming. And we have another story here. Looks like we have a couple of stories left. Okay. Wow. These has been so far absolutely insane. Experiencing the evil spirits at that uh, holding facility for the children, and then experiencing the two children walking from, that had passed, walking, disappearing into the house there. That's just wow. That's crazy. Now this next story, it says this happened to me back in 1995, the night of my uncle's funeral. Some may say it was coincidence, but I believe it was a message from the next life. My uncle Ray Simpson was my favorite uncle. He was my mom's oldest brother, and he and I bonded through the love of coon hunting. Over the years, we coon hunted together, traded knives and guns and dogs. We were just close. Welcome in, Tammy. Thanks so much for coming in. It's good to see you. Appreciate everybody coming in. Well, long about the mid 90s, my uncle started having heart trouble, and it was decided he needed a heart bypass operation. He was 73 years old at the time, and except for heart trouble, he was in pretty good shape. He left the Black Hills during the Depression looking for work. He went off down the road with a burlap sack with his clothes in it and was leading a blue tick hound on a piece of rope. The family joke was that half of the Simpson Holler followed him. Half the Simpson Holler was the family of Simpsons and the Huffakers that lived up at the back of the holler. Though we weren't hiking to the Huffakers, they still lived around us. We considered each other to be kin. My uncle served in the Navy in the Pacific War during World War II. And when he came home, we went to work in a sawmill, where he eventually worked his way up to manager of the mill. Like I said, Uncle Ray loved coon hunting and had some really famous dogs that won quite a few coon hunting championships. When his heart began to slow him down, he would have me drive out to where he was going hunting, and he would sit in the truck and listen to the hounds run. I would follow the dogs, bag the coon, and when they treed one. He couldn't tolerate this, so he decided to have the heart bypass surgery so that he could get back in the woods once again. The day before his surgery, I joked with him and said to him, "Well, if you don't make it through the surgery, let me know you made it to heaven." He laughed and replied, "I'll sure let you know." That was the last time we spoke to each other. Uncle Ray died during the surgery the next day. His funeral was well attended, which served to show just how well liked he was. He was a he has a headstone marker with a hound carved right onto it. The night of my uncle's funeral, I could not sleep at all, so I went out around 1:45 a.m. and sat on the porch and had a smoke. While I was sitting there, I spoke to Uncle Ray and reminded him that he would give me a sign if he made it to heaven. I sat there for about 15 minutes, still not sleepy. I went in and turned on the TV. I watched for about 5 minutes and yelled for my wife to wake up and come see what was on TV. She couldn't believe it. The episode of, of Twilight Zone entitled The Hunt. The following has the storyline of The Hunt. So if you guys hadn't ever watched it, uh, uh, I've watched this one personally. Let's see. Yes, Alligator Horse did send these stories. Hyder Simpson is the elder mountain man who lives with his wife Rachel and his old coon dog Rip in the backwoods. Rachel does not like having the dog indoors, but Rip saved Hyder's life once, and Hyder refused to part with him. Rachel has seen some bad omens recently and warns Hyder not to go raccoon hunting that night. Rip dives into the pond after a raccoon. Hyder jumps in after him. Only the raccoon comes up out of the water. The next morning, Hyder and Rip wake up next to the pond. When they return home, Hyder finds that Rachel, the preacher, and the neighbors cannot hear or see him and are pretending to the burial of both him and Rip. Walking along the road, Hyder and Rip encounter an unfamiliar fence and follow it. They come to a gate tended by a man who explains that Hyder can enter the Elysian fields of the afterlife, and told Rip cannot enter and will be taken to a special afterlife for dogs. Hyder declines the offer of entry and decides to keep walking along the Eternity Road, saying, "Any place too highfalutin for Rip is too fancy for me." Later, Hyder and Rip stop to rest and are met by a young man who introduces himself as an angel dispatched to find them and take them to heaven. When Hyder recounts his previous encounter, the angel tells him that the gate is actually the entrance to hell. The gatekeeper stopped Rip from entering because Rip would have smelled the brimstone inside and warned Hyder something was wrong. The angel says, "You see, Mr. Hyder, a man? Well, he'll walk right into hell with both eyes open, but the devil can't even fool a dog." No one can ever convince me that this was a coincidence. Why else would I have turned on the TV at the exact same moment that the Alfred Hitchcock show was playing, right after having asked for a sign? I firmly believe this was a message from Uncle Ray letting me know that he made it right on into heaven. Boy, now that right there that's another sad one. I mean, don't want to see your uncle sick and want him to have the surgery, and but when he has it, he had a massive heart attack while having them. And so sad. And it can't be a coincidence that he couldn't sleep that night and went out on the porch and just got bored and wanted to watch TV, and there that episode was called to hunt, which I remember it very well. I watched it myself as a kid. So really enjoy these stories that he sent in. Like I said, there's actually one more, but it's going to be made into a video, and it's not a scary story. To me, it's more heartwarming than anything. It's a sad one, but it's heartwarming at the same time. But that'll be for not this Saturday, but next Saturday. This coming week's video, see if I can't find some pictures to remind me of what it's about. Sometimes I get to writing stories and forget what the heck I'm writing about. So, okay, yeah, that's it. Writing this Saturday story is going to be about a unique named town with a very neat kind of a roadside attraction that goes along with it. We'll learn about the history and story of both of those. So that's what's coming up Saturday. So I appreciate everybody coming out tonight and listening to the story there. Absolutely enjoyed those stories. I know they were sad and some of them were spooky as all get out, but if you would like to hear, you have an experience of, you heartwarming, or you've had an experience with an angel or some of these other creepy ones, and you'd like to have them shared on here, there at the bottom of the screen scrolling is the email. Feel free to send them to that, and we'll make a video or read them. Read them out loud, whatever. We'll come up with something. I really do appreciate the Alligator Horse for trusting us enough to send these stories. I'm super grateful for them. I appreciate each and every one of them, and I appreciate you guys for coming out and having some good old family time and talking and chatting with each other, and uplifting each other when we're having a bad day, and keeping each other in our prayers. Yes, that I agree. That one definitely gave me chills as well. But I appreciate all you guys. Love coming in here and seeing everybody just having a good time. And when we're having a bad day, everybody just comes together and uplifts each other, and we pray for each other. And always a special thank you to Janet. Donated some money to the Cash App to help with Hope's little doctor trip. I appreciate that. I want to say how much I appreciate that. And you guys just watching the videos and leaving the comments and sharing us out and telling your friends. That's such a blessing. And I haven't looked yet today, but we were mighty close to 1,900 subscribers. Like we were one away. Still one away. We're at 1,899 subscribers as of right now, but maybe by next week we'll get to celebrate 1,900 subscribers, and that's only 100 subscribers away from our little giveaway there. I'll give away that Myers Tells Appalachia sign, and I may do like I did last time and pick one of these paintings I have over here, and that may be a giveaway as well. So when we hit that 2,000 mark, we'll have a celebration either way. I'd like to see if I can get a lot of us together, like Jimmy and the Spooky Appalachian, Jared and myself, and get us all together and just have a celebration. So I really, again, appreciate each and every one of y'all. You guys are so awesome. Appreciate everything y'all do. And I guess until next Monday night, we'll see y'all later. Bye, guys. Appreciate y'all.